Welcome to Our Relationship Pod, the podcast where I'm gonna do that again. I can do that. I can stop what I'm saying and I can say it again, and I don't have to edit it out. Welcome to Our Relationship Podcast with Emmy and Iffy, the podcast where we wade through the internet's mess so you don't have to. Talking way too much, as always, is your boy Iffy Waddy, and I'm joined by my lovely partner,
Emily Louise.
And there used to be a tinkle there. Honestly, I can add it in post. Probably won't, but I can. I've been feeling real comfortable in Premiere.
You just been like recording yourself when you go to the bathroom and
yeah.
dropping it in?
Yeah.
Right after I say my name?
Yeah, recreate that like meme dookie sound that everyone always plays. That you know the one. We all know the dookie sound I'm talking
I hate
about.
that I do.
Yes. We are joined by none other than our good friend, amazing producer, director. You've heard his voice for the past 4 episodes at the top of the episode. Matthew Moynihan, how's it going?
Good. I'm sorry that you heard my voice. The audio was pretty...
No. Like, it's so funny because you would like be like, okay, we're starting, but I leave it in because I like the like cold open nature, because normally when we first started, it was just like we would just ramble up top and then start. But I like the kind of like 3, 2, 1, because I like that. I like in rap songs when they're like, yo, turn up my headphones. You didn't have to keep that in. You can literally
turn up my headphones and podcasting.
Yeah. He was like, turn it up. But yeah, no, it's a good time. Feeling good. It's my birthday today.
Yes, it is.
Yes. Happy birthday to me. But yeah, I'm feeling great. We're going to start this off how we usually do with a check-in. We're going to check in on everyone, talk about something you're excited about that's coming up, or that has happened, or that's happening right now. So, Em, we'll let you kick it off.
Well, I was going to say it's your birthday.
Oh,
It's your birthday.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about it.
You know what today is? It's your birthday.
I am not generally a party person for my birthdays, and you always are. And I feel like, I'm like, ooh, this is my time to live vicariously.
It's so funny because oddly, everyone who's come to my parties are like, Iffy, you have so many friends. Iffy, this is a huge party. And to me, I was like, no, that's the normal party amount. And then I'll go to other friends' parties and go, oh yeah, I guess I do have. Because I'm like, and it's interesting because, I have other friends who would ask. So the hardest thing I think about throwing a party in this day and age is like, if you have more than like 30 friends, the concept of like trying to make sure everyone gets invited is so hard, because Partyful makes you think that it works because it's like, yeah, you'll just invite everyone that's been at the last party.
Don't you get me started on Partyful.
It's like you're just inviting everyone who's at the last party, except we didn't show you everyone who was at the last party, so you did forget some people. And then you have, the nature of like, what I did before Partyful was, because everyone made fun of one time. I've since did a huge culling of like my close friends, and it's actually a close friends. But like, it was so huge, and everyone was like, what the hell are you doing? I was like, oh, this was like before Partyful.
Your close friends on
I was
Instagram.
Like people my close friends on Instagram is just people who I know in real life, who I would want to invite to things, and then I would just post things there. But then even then, if someone didn't check Instagram that day, since it's only up for 24 hours, and then you try and like do it via email, but then you don't have everyone's email. So I think there's just, for throwing parties, I think it is really hard. And I don't think if you have a friend who like throws huge parties and you don't get invited, I think just hit them up, because they probably want you there and forgot.
I've been talking about this a lot recently, and this is like mostly because I hate Partyful and refuse to use it.
I have to screenshot all of our party events and send them to Matt.
Oh, that's so funny.
But my big take that, I don't know, maybe it's a terrible take, but I'm like, I think that the idea of reducing the work of throwing a party is antithetical to the like spirit of throwing a party, and that being like, we'll make it easier for you as a host. It's like, no, it's work to put on a party, and it's a thing like you want to give to people and do for people. Like as you're saying, like it takes a lot.
Yeah.
And I feel like Partyful makes people think they've done it, but I'm like, you haven't. Because also, when you do the like invite everyone from the last party, it only counts if people RSVP'd. So people who are like, I don't know if I can go or not yet, and didn't hit the maybe button, because why would you ever hit a maybe button?
Yeah.
Won't
I
get
do
the
it all the
invite.
time because I hit the maybe button because sometimes you can't see the guest list unless you're on the list already. So I click maybe so then I can see who's going.
You're doing who all going?
Yeah.
Who's
gonna be there?
To me, I disagree only because I think the art of doing the party is the party itself. I think the invites is the least work thing and is only made hard by like bureaucracy. like where it's like, okay, who do I want this? I think it is anti ADHD, like the fact of sitting,
ADHD.
ADHD, my object permanence, because it's so funny because I have so many other friends too who will be like, oh, I'm doing this thing, you should come. And I remember just like, before you'd have some friends where it was like, they didn't even want me to invite me because they did it last minute. I was like, no, they probably forgot you and it's not personal. That's kind of like the era that I'm in where like, it's like, like I don't take things personal. Because I just don't have time. And I also think that it doesn't, like surprise me that it coincides with me having so many other partners now too, where it's like, I don't have time to take things personal or overthink anything because I truly like, I'm responding to texts. I'm sending good mornings, I got stuff to do.
Yeah, I think the taking things personal thing is always tough.
Yeah, because it's like
you gotta give people grace.
Well, what's funny is like I'm only okay with people taking something personal if they're confrontational. Because if someone takes something I did personal and then comes to me, then it at least gives me the opportunity to like clarify, and then we can be good. I get so flummoxed by like secret vendettas that you find out about, and then you're like, oh, if you would have brought this up to me, we could have cleared this up, but you've gone like 6 months hating my guts, and then now I have to be the bigger person and not take that personally that you've hated my guts all this time, but you've just been around me and not like been up front.
Well, because it makes you feel like they didn't care enough about your friendship to actually have a conversation with you to fix it.
That's that is true, but I never think that, because I've just come to a point where it's like so many people are so afraid of confrontation. It's so clear, and I think that it might also be a result of like the pandemic, where we've all been like inside and we've been so precious about the relationships that we've had, because when we all kind of had to like shelter, and it wasn't just like these acquaintances that we would see around, even though that's starting to build back up again. But the period, like our relationships were so delicate and sacred, and so we want to make sure everyone's like fine and this. And with me, it's like, no, I like when like, I like you. I don't like making my friends angry, but I like when you are so mad at me and you just need to like talk it out with me, and we're good friends after that. Like, to me, I think people are afraid of like, oh, if I like have this big like spat with this person, then it ends the friendship. I'm like, no, I don't, and a lot of times people will be like, hey, like they'll be like, I'm sorry that I like did. I'm like, no, I'm glad you did, because you let me know what's up, and we're moving forward beyond that. Versus this like, feigning smiles and like, this tit for tat, passive aggressive situation that just kind of evolves until the friendship explodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you excited about, Iffy?
I'm excited about the comedy tour that's building right now. So right now I'm going to be in New Orleans, Lafayette, Mobile, Alabama, Dallas, Texas, and that's going to be all in July coming up. So it'll be fun. I'm going to be at South by doing comedy, and then seeing the premiere of the movie I'm in, Grind. And then doing PAX. It is the calm before the storm. I'm gonna be traveling, and this is why we batch record episodes.
You can't tell me there's another movie called Grind coming out.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the OG Grind?
No, what is it?
It was like an early 2000s skateboard movie.
Oh, I vaguely remember it now.
It was like one of the VHSs that I wore out on sick days.
That's Brink.
Yeah.
which is the Disney movie about skateboarding.
I believe Grind is the reason that
from
the
2003.
phrase, yeah, there we go. Yeah, open your ears, jackass, lives in my head rent free.
Yeah. A skateboarder and his two best friends make one last summer road trip across America. They dream of getting noticed by the professional skateboarding world and get paid to skate.
It's got this sort of like sex comedy vibe and styling, but it's not at
I
all.
love a late night stoner comedy.
Dude, it's great. I gotta watch Grind again. I'm trying. There's some band. There's like, I think it's an all-woman punk band the Donnas, that I learned about through Grind. I haven't thought about them in 10 years.
Me neither. I was like, oh, I know who that is.
Speaking of which, since you like to grind, have you seen North Hollywood?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was like, that is
North Hollywood rips.
I'm gonna try and finesse Vidiots into doing a double feature of Grind and then North Hollywood. Two very different skateboard films, but I think what I like about it is the movie Grind is like what fuels the idea of like that person.
Well, and like I think it also, that really speaks to the difference of like how much hope we had culturally of like what Grind feels like. So I was like, I want to do this thing.
Exactly.
And was like, man, I got to fight everyone just to have a chance to do this thing, and I'm getting my ass kicked.
Yeah, it's just funny. I like just that kind of idea of a double feature where it's like, it's not just a one-to-one, it is just like the first film is giving you like the culture behind like the mindset of one of the characters in the second film that's gonna.
I gotta show you my double feature list.
Oh,
they're
okay.
all insane.
All right, look, I'm in. So, what are you excited about, or I guess?
What am I excited about? I mean, I'm going to Vegas tonight.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go do 72 hours in Vegas.
I don't know
or something.
why I thought you were gonna be somewhere other than Vegas. I was thinking you were going to like the Midwest or East Coast, like Chicago or this, but Vegas. That's not.
Yeah,
bad.
that's why I was like, yeah, I'll do that for. But also, I'm excited about your birthday party, and I'm flying back for it.
Yeah. What's so interesting is like, have you done Vegas much? Like
Just for MagicCons.
Okay, because like I don't know where I stand on fly versus drive, because the drive to Vegas is a very fun drive out of like all the great Southern California drives.
Feels like you're in Fallout.
Like you're just going through desert, but it's all these like road houses and gas stations that are like very interesting. Like it is a road that knows you're on the way to Vegas. But flying is so quick and you just get it done so quickly that it's like, yeah, is it worth spending the time to drive or flying? Because when you drive, you can just bring whatever you want.
Yeah.
I also feel like then we don't have to go to LAX.
Yeah.
Well, so this is what I was gonna say. Have you guys flown Jet Suite X?
Oh yeah, I love that you call it by its full government name.
I'm not saying JSX.
JSX.
If I knew what X stands for, Jet Suite Xavier, man.
Yeah.
Experience.
It is oftentimes the cheapest ticket, which is wild.
Yeah, it is, because I think people just naturally who are flying to Vegas just always knee jerk to the major airlines, whereas like, yeah, JSX is right there.
It's great.
Jet Suite excluding minorities. That's what X stands for.
Not a sponsor.
Sponsorship will make me delete that comment from this episode.
Yeah, you start doing threat sponsorship. If you sponsor us, I'll stop saying this fucked up shit about you.
Well, I remember a show I was working on. It was like kind of like a late night show, and one of the writers were so annoyed because we would make jokes and it would be like referential, where it's like, this is the type of person you'd find buying crack in a Walmart parking lot. A real thing that made this person go back and forth with legal, and legal was like, if there's precedence, and he's like, okay, and he did a Google search and immediately found like 5 cases where someone was buying crack. It was this thing where like we couldn't make disparaging jokes about any products that we that sponsored us, but we could do of the ones that we couldn't, and we'd get a list. And he was like, it feels like we're just like holding like a ransom against these brands, where it's like, if you want us to stop making fun of you, you can just simply sponsor us.
I mean, hell yeah.
Yeah, it's so funny. So that's what that reminded me of. Yeah, I guess that's enough of our mess. Let's jump into the internet's mess. But first, I was so gritty and excited to jump in, but I was like, oh, I forgot to pull up. We got to check to see if we have any of our listeners' emails. But I realized I do have it on my cellular device because I know we had some new one. Okay, there is. Ooh. Okay, we have this one. Ooh, okay. So here's what's happening. So the emails that we've done in the past episode, I let them know that it's coming up. Yeah. So then like it broke up the new emails because like they'll be like, thanks. And I'll be like, okay, I'll make that as seen. And I try to like leave the ones that I haven't read unread so that I can read them in order. And so now I found the true person who is next up on our listener email. Hi, Iffy and Emmy. You can call me Pitch. He/X like the letter. This isn't going to be a very juicy question, lol. Me and my girlfriend are both polyamorous and thinking about moving in together. I've never lived with a partner before and was wondering if you had any advice on conversations we could be having as we decide if living together is a good fit for us. One thing you don't need to comment on if you don't want to, but I'm also sober. Alcohol just makes me uncomfortable, and it is a little triggering, but I'm not recovering from any addictive behaviors, and my girlfriend drinks. It's really important to me that if she goes out drinking, she can come home without worrying about upsetting me or causing distress. I'm in therapy, by the way, lol. Thanks for being such cool people. This is very interesting to me because this is, classic. This is very classic. And this is the number one reason why we never, fault people for long emails, because I feel like I need some more information around specifically the sober situation. Because is it a thing where you're like, I don't want alcohol in the home? Is it a thing where it's like, I don't want you coming home drunk? All of those things. Because I feel like, simply moving with a partner. I mean, I feel like the polyamorous aspect, the only difference is just like the boundaries of like having people over. I heard from a friend that a Subaru Outback XT is the perfect size cars to have sex in. If you like end up in a situation where you're dating someone who also has their nesting partner, and you're like, oh, we don't want to disturb our partners, but we want to bang. Subaru XT, I've heard, very spacious. You can let the passenger side down. It goes pretty much almost flat.
That is my seat.
Okay. All right. All right. But like I said, it was a friend. It's not even me. But yeah, besides that, I think it's your typical moving in with someone, which is always going to be it's just always going to be just adjustment, because I feel like everyone has their living spaces like differently.
Yeah, I think about stuff that's important to you. Like, I like when we go to bed at the same time. However, I'm never expecting you. If I'm like, I'm going to bed, I never expect you, but I know that that's like a thing for people. Yeah. Where it's like, oh, we're going to bed now.
Yeah. I was like,
yeah. I think also just like all the little things that kind of go under this, in my experience, all like boil down to sort of like conflict resolution. Yes. Where like, how do you resolve conflicts? How do you bring them up? Going back to what you're saying, like, do you sit with them and not bring them up, or are you going to be confrontational about it? Because I think that's like, any of those things, you might not be able to think of the full list when you're moving in. But then once you, and also like if you haven't lived with someone before, which I think he said it's the first, it would be. Yeah. I'm like, there are so many things that you're not going to think about, and things that you don't realize, things that you don't know annoy you. And some of those things you're going to be like, that's on me to deal with. And some of those things you're going to want to talk about. But being able and being comfortable and feeling confident in being able to like bring that thing up, have a confidential conversation, and then go to sleep in the same room.
Yeah, because everything's going to be kind of learning how to exist in that same space together. I think a good, exercise that might help before this all happens is the both of you write out like a doc of like if someone was going to like house sit for y'all, the things you would want them to do.
For real.
Like and break it down where it's like I want this here, this here, this here. I want this cleaned. I want, like truly like break it down, and that way you can show each other, how you're hoping to have the space kept. And I just thought of that in this moment because, our friend Chris, who was on this pod, I was staying at their place and they had like a 7-page Google Doc of how they wanted their things kept, how to use certain things, what they didn't want touched, and they were like, I'm just particular. And I was like, no, reading this seems like very chill and normal to me. But it is like, for them, they're like, because I've experienced the fact that a lot of people don't operate this way, I'm just gonna like take that on and then hope I can convey what I'm looking for. Because the main thing, and I think this is just a general thing about relationships, is no one's, speaking of JSX, no one's Professor X. No one is going to know everything that you want, and you can't hold that against someone. But, it does become a problem when you do kind of communicate that and they don't seem to listen.
I will say, I think a good conversation to have before you move in with each other is talking about how you want your space to be. Some people hyper clean, some people hyper messy. You probably know just based on their personal space already where they fall on that spectrum, but talking about like what you think is important in your own household.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't care if there's dishes in the sink overnight, but I know some people absolutely do. They're like, I want all the dishes done. I want this done before we go to bed so I can wake up. Like, I don't care about that, but it's important to know if the person you live with does, because then you can already have some kind of plan in place.
Yeah, I think also there are relationship dynamics in if you're finding a place together or moving into one or the other. Mm-hmm. Where like I had a friend who moved in with a boyfriend earlier than I think was probably wise, and earlier than she did too, but her living situation got to the point that like it made the most sense. Mm-hmm. And she moved into his place and it was like really tough.
Yeah. And
then like not bad, but just like, it was messy. She didn't have places to store her things. And she was like, well, it's his space. I don't want to, impose, which is already a thing. But then when they found a new place and found it together, like all those things just kind of more naturally could be addressed.
Oh yeah, because you're just building a new space together and it isn't just finding a space for your stuff in there.
Yeah.
But and as far as the drinking stuff, I think it's like I said, I think, that's just conversations. If it is about, not wanting them to come home drunk, or like them coming home drunk would be a problem and stress you out, I think talk about that, talk about best practices. Is it a thing where it's like, okay, if I, had too many to drink, maybe I'll just crash on the couch, and then by morning, or like maybe it'll like help if they shower and then, they don't smell as boozy, things like that. But I think, all those are just kind of conversations to have.
And I think also on that, because it sounds like he was saying one of his worries too was not wanting her to feel bad. I think having like a protocol, too intense of a word, but like of what to do instead of what not to do. So instead of like, oh no, I don't want to fuck up and upset him, it's like, oh, I'm drunk. What's the thing that I do when I come home drunk? So it's an active thing instead of I don't want to do something to him. Also, I think just makes it a little less personal.
Hell yeah.
I think that's a great advice.
You're right. Now, let's hop into Reddit and see what is going on over there.
Time to uncork.
Yes. How do I, male 22, deal with her, female 21, bitchy feet teasing?
Grow up. That's how. I gotta know what bitchy feet teasing is.
And you're gonna find out.
Around the summer, a new girl joined my group, and relatively immediately, she learned from the others about my foot fetish. At first, she took it weirdly. She wanted us to go to the beach on separate days, and then in the fall, when we would do house gathering, she said straight out that she would always wear socks around me because she doesn't like the foot fetish. I told her, okay, whatever makes you comfortable. The thing is that after a point, she started taking it as a game, throwing jabs and teasing me, which bothers me. Plus, she's a pretty girl, and since she hasn't taken off her socks yet, from what I've heard, she's almost always barefoot around others. I've become curious. No, she has bullied you into doing what she feared the most.
Yes, 100%.
Rips.
Because I was like, yeah, you shouldn't be kink shaming people, especially because what the fuck? She didn't tell you that information.
Also,
however,
who in your group is going around telling everybody you got a foot fetish?
Big foot guy.
Yeah.
Hello, like we don't have people with feet fetishes that we mention it constantly.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have.
Yeah, we're all normal about it.
I wouldn't do it to someone as soon as they got in the group. Was like, just so you know, them feet.
Yeah.
Now it makes like.
All right, we got Iffy, hockey guy, Emmy, artistic, Ray, super smart, and then we got a foot guy.
Foot guy, Bigfoot. He loves a foot.
He loves Bigfoot.
So
because like at this, go.
But why won't she let me see them? Is like, yeah, dog, that's why.
Well, he didn't say why won't she.
That I'm getting curious.
He's developing an intellectual mind about the possibilities of these toes.
Because look, if you want, the unhealed advice, it'd be like your foot probably ugly anyway. I ain't trying to see them dogs. You probably got ugly foot. She gonna show you them feet.
That's
you
like, that will get those foot in front
It's
of
called
you.
reverse psychology.
You
Do that.
I have a foot fetish, but they told me you got fucked up toes anyway.
Yeah. They say your toes look like Fritos.
You flip it. Oh, they told you I had a foot fetish? They told me you got fucked up.
Yeah. Your toes look like the Fritos with the twisty.
Oh my God.
Looks like your toes look like they belong in Mordor. You got Mordor toes.
So I read somewhere,
Go for it.
not on Reddit, that's the one thing I do know, that the foot fetish is the only fetish that has been mapped to the like actual human brain. Where it's like, we can just see if you have a foot fetish.
Oh, that's cool.
And everything else is a like response to whatever life experiences we've had, whatever genetic things are passed down to us. That like those are.
Wolf.
But what I've heard is that the foot fetish is the only one that is scientific. So there's also a case for you saying that this is discrimination.
That's where you went. That's where you were going with that. Got it. I was on that train. I was like, I was riding it, and then we came around that bend, and I was like, no, this is not where I thought we were going.
I do think it's interesting though.
Yeah, it's so funny because it's like, yeah, like that's the teasy thing, but I think it's like. It's the healed advice would be confronting this person and being like, hey, like, you're good, like, we're friends. If I'm not into you, I'm not really gonna give that a shit about your feet. Feel comfortable all you want, but like, you don't have to keep bringing it up. Like, it's like, they're like, I'm probably not into your toes. Like, if you showed them to me right now, I probably wouldn't care. Go ahead and pull them socks off. I probably...
Go ahead, put them in my mouth. I'm probably not into it.
Put them in my mouth. I'll probably just be like, ugh. But like, I feel like feels like very like early 20s teasing and all this stuff.
Oh, and I'm sure as soon as they say something like, hey, I don't like that you're teasing me, I'm sure it'll stop immediately.
Yeah, they'll be so embarrassed. Because, like, would you ever be like, I heard you like dick?
I'm saving myself for marriage.
But, like, I don't know. Like picking a part of the body that someone's attracted to and making fun of them for it is so silly.
Yes. Well, and also it's like, I think that people a lot of times feel comfortable bullying people about foot fetish specifically because if you are not into feet, there is nothing inherently sexual about feet. Where it's like, oh, if you're like a boob person, like, yeah, I understand why boobs are a thing people are attracted to.
But they're not inherently sexual.
I agree. However, I'm like, I can understand that boobs are a thing people are attracted to. Feet, I'm like, I don't get it. But I think that's why people feel comfortable bullying because they're like, well, this is silly to me, so it doesn't matter if I tease you about it.
Which I think is funny because I feel like most other parts of the body we've sexualized in some way. Like elbows, maybe not. But I'm like, I know people who think hands are sexy.
I've met a few of those because I have giant hands in there.
I just say I have enormous hands and it's been great for me. A woman I dated once sent me a screenshot of a tweet that was, what was it? It's like, if a girl ever tells you have nice hands, fuck her now. Release her from her misery. The text, her group text is receiving things that look like they came from jail. And I think about that often. I butchered it, but I think about it often.
Yeah, I feel that.
Oh, you have such nice hands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I was doing some investigation. Apparently, they were accused later in the post that this was a foot fetish bot who I guess raising their karma to post more foot fetish content. Honestly, great job.
And is that true?
I couldn't tell. They started hiding their post and replies after that.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, Buster, you're just trying to see more feet. You're just trying to see more feet. That's fine. We figured that out. Let's jump to the next one. Engaged, 22 male, to my pregnant fiance, 21 female, after 2 months. After 2 months, I'm struggling with her trauma responses and the pressure of our situation. Oh my God.
Buckle up, baby.
How are her feet?
Yeah, we got to
Swollen.
start. So the first sentence in this is absolutely buck wild.
It's Hemingway.
Maybe.
Mama didn't raise no quitter, so I have no intention of jumping ship. Here's the situation. Feel free to ask clarifying questions. Oh, wow. Hold on.
So bad.
Hold on. It gets number one. I attend a religious university that requires abstinence from sex until after marriage. 2, we are pregnant. She's due before I graduate. 3, we found this out, decided to get engaged, and are planning on getting civilly married soon. 4, we met right before Thanksgiving, found out she's pregnant New Year's. 5, she is amazing, but has a lot of trauma, and I don't really feel equipped to handle. 6, she's worried I'm going to cheat or fall out of love. I will never even consider physically cheating, ever. Why did you specify? Why did you specify?
I'm going to think about so many people.
They'll never do anything about it.
But lately, with how she reacts to me, I feel like emotional cheating is something I would consider. Oh, he said that because he was getting ready to say that. We should have finished that. 7,
I would consider.
if she at all feels insecure about our relationship, she swings to the extreme and says things like, I'd rather do this alone than with someone. Insert, however, I messed up this time. Can anyone offer some advice? How can I approach these I'd rather do it alone moments without having to defend my loyalty, competence, love every time? I can't afford to go to therapy right now. Any
And you're having a child?
any resources I should
crazy.
be aware of that would help me work through this? Look, you're going to Bible school, and I don't know how long the pregnancy's been going on, but
Well, we do.
New Year's.
Between Thanksgiving and New Year's, like, she got pregnant.
oh, okay, so that's past any kind of abortion.
Yeah, because I was like, the advice was get an abortion, but it's too late.
Yeah, because it's like
wrap your shit next time?
you don't this seems like a situation I don't want a child being brought into.
No.
Like you've only known each other for 2 months. You know nothing about each other. You're already 2 months into this engagement considering emotional cheating. And like for me, like it's like, oh, cool. Then she's like, you're so boldly considering it. Then physical cheating is probably not that far off, dog. I don't know how to explain that to you. And like, yeah, she probably feels insecure about the relationship because she knows nothing about you. You've only been together for like
12 days. They weren't together.
And also, raw dogging it, baby, immediately.
wild.
Well,
because
God didn't invent the condom.
because there's probably like
Or hot Cheetos, but here we are.
they can't buy the condoms. I mean, that's one of the things why abstinence fails so much, because it is giving none of the tools for people to protect themselves from these situations, because you're like, no, you shouldn't just be doing it. And like, instead of being like, look, if you're going to do it, you need to do these things, this person, depending on where they're growing up, I wouldn't be surprised if they weren't even thinking about condoms. Like that wasn't even on the mind. They went from a soak to a splash,
Yes, we were all thinking Utah, you're right.
Yeah, I know. I was like, BYU, what's the username?
Well, yeah, I know. It's so funny. Ill Principal 8712. So that doesn't give any clues. But, this is probably a burner account. No, this is your whole ass regular account, dog.
What else are they doing?
They just posted to our BYU.
We got them!
We got them, boys. How to meet people if not taking classes during summer? Oh my God! I can't believe
how to meet people to emotionally cheat on my fiance with.
I can't believe that shot was
they can't
cold.
Physically.
So they definitely was doing some soaking.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Oh my God! I can't believe we
Dude,
snipered that.
Oh my gosh. We hive-minded privately. And then I was like, well, this has to be a burner. It's not a burner. And it's, oh my gosh.
Honestly, incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, go to therapy.
Go to therapy. You can afford it. You are choosing not to afford it.
Also, I was going to say your school has it, but I don't know if that's true.
And I just said you can afford it, you're choosing not to. And I'm sure people will not like that I say that. But money is fake. And
Got it.
I don't know. There are a lot of resources.
If you're going to have a child, get a therapist first.
I went to therapy for $5 a session at a place once that wasn't good, but it was better than nothing. There are resources around. There are community clinics. Especially, I bet there are.
We never get to do this, so
Mormon
I
support
don't even
groups.
want to apologize
Therapy from
for
a pastor.
the heavy extrapolation that's about to happen. Because I'm reading through some of the other posts. 2 years ago, this person had a post. It's basically the same post on the friendship subreddit and make new friends here subreddit.
Oh,
It goes, 23 male, advice and normal combos needed, smile. Howdy friends, just went through a breakup and miss having someone to tell crazy weird things I see around town. Also kind of in need of advice that could be good too. Other than that, I'm almost always down for a pen pal. 23 male, so no minors please and thank you.
Well, and also 22 male previously, right?
No,
Or was that the previous
23.
guy?
I think that's the previous
Okay.
guy. This is 20. But so this guy is no, that is interesting. Yeah, he says 22 male here, and then he was saying 23 male earlier.
Okay, so how old is the person that he got pregnant?
21.
So you think maybe that's why he's lying about his age?
Maybe it's wild. Truly, so many things here. One, him being like, I went through a breakup. I need friends, meaning that he puts all of that on one partner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is someone who is using their partner as their therapist, their friend, their confidant. It's
Parent.
yeah, you need friends because friends would have been like, dog, you straight up should not do that. You should not do that. And that makes sense that it needs because he can be expelled from this. So he has to marry this person because BYU will straight up expel you. He should be using a burner because if BYU can figure out who this person is, they're gonna give him the boot, the BYU.
Nice.
Thank you.
I love when people go to college not at 18. I think that it's incredibly admirable for someone to decide that despite the cultural norm of right after high school you go to college, that they still want to get that education. I think that fewer people need to go to college in general. And I think that somebody who is 23 being in college at a religious school full of 18-year-olds who are probably ostensibly culturally conditioned to look for someone to marry is a dangerous mix.
Yeah. Especially for someone who's just seems like so thirsty to do this thing. And it's and that's so funny because I wonder, he's lying about his age. Could he also be lying about her age? Because I'm if you're 18 and you're you're gonna cheat on me because you're 24,
Yeah. And it could be a typo.
Yep.
Because it's just 22, 23. It could be a typo.
Mm-hmm.
But
I don't think it could be because he said
It could be.
I don't think it could be specifically because
He said, I was born 22 years ago.
no, because he says 22 male, but the one where he says 23 is from 2 years ago.
Oh.
Yes. So he was saying 20. He was 23, asking for advice 2 years ago.
We got to get some internet literacy and let people know that if you post some shit, people can just pull up your name and see your other posts.
Well, it's so funny because I can't tell if he's lying now to seem younger or he was lying then to seem older.
I know. Either way, that's besides the fact. You cannot
some
afford
other
therapy.
issues.
You probably can't afford this baby. You're in a state that is already just gonna make things hard for you.
Well, also, adults know how to do math generally. They're gonna know that she was pregnant while you were at school.
Yeah. That's gonna be
yeah,
the
because
thing.
she's due before graduation.
They should get married. If they're gonna do it, they should get married right now.
I think
Yeah.
that's what they're doing. They're doing
Yeah.
a civil marriage.
I do like getting married civilly, as opposed to an uncivil marriage.
Yeah, it's civil.
We're doing it, but we're not going to like it.
Yeah, Mama didn't raise no quitter.
That's
Like, no-
amazing.
It's like, yeah, Mama didn't raise someone with discernment either. Like,
God, what a mess.
someone goes, the first comment here is, how do you attend such a religious university and not use protection? Dog, because they're not using, because that's not.
Birth
you can't-
control's not allowed, correct?
Also, so I used to date someone in Provo, Utah, and I think people really don't understand. Like where BYU is on Sunday, businesses aren't open because the Mormon church, you're not supposed to work on Sunday. Like that, you cannot buy alcohol. Like you have to and when you go to Salt Lake City, at least back when I was going, when you would drink in the club, it was in this area, the bar was there was a transparent wall, so you just had all these Mormons staring at you, judging you if
VIP,
you went in
baby.
to buy booze. It is systemically supported to make any decision to do anything that isn't Mormon feel bad. I remember I went to go see, it was that movie with Gerard Butler and Jamie Foxx where he's in jail and he's killing people from the jail and no one can figure out how he's making it happen.
300.
No. It was good guess. No, it was a terrible guess. It was an R-rated movie. You're not supposed to see R-rated movies. And we were me and my partner back then were the only people in that theater. And when we walked out, people were kind of looking at us you went to see an R-rated film? It's nah, dog. If he would have bought a condom, you would have in the school that would expel you if you have sex. He would have walked out of the store with a condom, got back to his dorm, and there would have probably been an expulsion letter waiting for him.
And also, that they probably ended up having sex on Sunday, and he wouldn't be able to buy one anyway.
yeah. It's the Lord's Day, that's so wild. Gosh.
There's still some weird rules like that in Massachusetts.
Oh, really?
I think they changed a lot of them now, but when I was growing up, liquor stores not open on Sundays.
Yeah.
And then still you get paid time and a half on Sunday because you're working on the day of rest.
A lot of the states in the South have ABCs for ABCs. Is that what it is? Any stores that sell alcohol are government run and monitor basically, and so they often don't sell on Sunday or don't sell after
where they
time.
where they rope off the part where you can't go into it. Yeah, that happens in Connecticut sometimes.
ABCs, that seems like nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Alcoholic Beverage Commission.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Seems right.
Yeah. But yeah, no, this is all bad. I think, buckle up, boy, someone's gonna need a job. Let's talk about that because all of the medical care that this person's going to need, and it's 2 months. You use 2 months, right?
Yeah.
You do before you graduate, so you're probably graduating this year.
Well, hold on.
Probably next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Unless they're not graduating at the end of the school year, but that would be. Oh no, I guess maybe if they graduate in July. I graduated in July, so it could be that.
Anyways, that's the least of your fucking problems.
Yeah. You gotta. Whoo,
Can you come in and ask what his degree is in?
Yeah. It's like, hey, what is your degree in? Because I want to not do anything with that near you.
Yeah, I mean, get some kind of counseling, even if it's not a therapist.
Yeah. Because
Which also,
Just to figure out what the fuck you're gonna do.
but
Basically,
then that's probably because that makes sense too. Because he probably can't go to the school therapist and talk about.
this was, I was just gonna say, I'm like, I grew up in Lutheran church, the Lutherans are very chill. Their whole thing is like, I don't know, man.
yeah.
We like coming here listening to old music. But that's like one of the services that a lot of churches provide is counseling like that. But not for this.
Yeah.
This guy's whole thing is, I've gone against the creed of my religion.
Okay. Based on just even getting a little more info from this guy.
Is he answering people's questions in the comments?
I mean, people are just being like, dog.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Godspeed, brother.
Yeah. Yeah, like everyone's saying what we said was like, yeah, dude, your relationship's new. Trust comes with time. You have none of that, you know?
And also not really giving us any hope that there is going to be trust there. What the hell?
Yeah. I mean, I'm already ready to emotionally cheat.
Consider
Emotionally cheating. That's wild. That's
Because I'm like, if you know that about yourself, then what are you doing?
part of me thinks that emotionally cheating, he's talking about like jerking off to porn.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I was saying, I'm like, you don't even know this person. Like, invest your emotional energy into just that, getting to know them. But if jerking off is emotional cheating,
or maybe like it, with how young they are too, like, and he sees his friendships with all these like all his partners. Maybe emotional cheating is just having a female friend.
Well, I was gonna say, we're like having, because he was hitting up like trying to get pen pals and shit.
Yeah.
Like maybe just having a woman that he can share his emotions with.
Yeah.
Having a pen pal in the year of our Lord 2026 is crazy.
It's fun. I imagine it's like, and you can do it with email now. I feel like the hardest part about a pen pal back in the day was you needed stamps.
Yeah, I was gonna say postage.
Yeah. But now you can just send a little email.
That's true. I guess I was thinking physical mail.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start handwriting you letters.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a whole mess that you got yourself into, and you should go to therapy. You should, figure out what you're going to do to take care of that baby and make sure your partner gets all the care that they need to have the said baby. So good luck with that, because geez Louise. Mm-hmm. All right. We're going to jump to the next one. I, 37 female, don't know how to cope with my husband's 40 male new career success. My husband has had some incredible success in his career. It's great and very exciting. It's amazing to see him succeed, especially since we've been together for almost 15 years, but it's also completely changed our lives. Without going too much into details, it's a very glamorous career. Close proximity to celebrities, requires extended travel, late nights, all-consuming type of job. He is very loyal to me and I am to him, but I've been struggling lately since I never see him and feel like I'm not a part of his new life. For example, he's in another country on an extended business trip. I'll probably not see him for at least a few months. His jobs last for months at a time, and he is genuinely working hard during these times, but it feels like he no longer has time for me. We have short phone calls once a day, but emotionally and intellectually, our connection has greatly diminished. He doesn't really know what I do with my days or have time or energy to engage with me on a deeper level. He posts photos of himself with his coworkers who, due to his industries, are much younger, beautiful women. I fucking hate it. He seems so happy, and I feel like I can't compete with this new exciting period of his life. Celebrities are just much more exciting than a wife at home. I feel like he's not interested in me anymore, and I can't blame him. I guess celebrities are more exciting than normal people. To make matters worse, our entire family and friends are all on his side and infatuated with his new life. They talk about it constantly and ask me how he's doing, to which I don't know what to say other than he's loving it, because I'm not part of his new life at all. Whenever I bring this up to him, he interprets it as I'm not being supportive of him and his new career. I feel so alone and honestly like a crazy person. Like I shouldn't just feel grateful or happy for him. I feel like this weird outsider and villain in my own life because I can't be happy for him. I don't know how to cope or what to do to feel normal. This feels like an insane way to be married. I miss the days when we would just eat dinner together after work and sit on the couch and talk, but those are long gone. I feel like I've lost him. Before you ask, yes, I try hard to keep myself busy. I have a demanding job. I work full time and care for our 2 dogs and see friends and family, but this is not how I pictured married life. How can I cope with this change in our marriage? Too long didn't read. My husband's life has changed and I am no longer part of it and don't know how to be his wife anymore. Oof. This is tough because, like, it sounds like he's an actor or director or of some sorts.
I was thinking maybe some kind of behind the scenes for movies.
Yeah, like a producer or line producer or something.
Yeah.
Well, like, I feel like, respectfully to all my crew friends, I don't think that's a glamorous life that all the family would be like, oh my gosh. I feel like
that's something in producer.
But we don't think that because we are very.
No, I think that what makes like the family pops is like red carpets, the pictures with celebs and events like that. I think like crew photos on that, they're like, cool, you're doing it. But I feel like when I'm like writing on something and it's like me on set writing, they don't give a shit. But like if it's like me on set acting and stuff, that's when I'll get like family members to be like, ooh, ah.
Oh, my family does think my job is fancy.
Yeah.
They're like, ooh, glamorous. I'm like, I'm covered in paint constantly. I don't think so.
Yeah. But I'm also trying to think because also I don't think, someone on crew or something would be taking photos with everyone that much, like I think my read is I think he's like an actor or something. And
well, but so if that's true, that's interesting because she's like, oh, I didn't think this is what married life was going to be like, but that means you never thought this person was going to succeed in being an actor or
did I say he like switched industries or is it just he became successful?
Yeah, he became successful. Recently had some incredible success in his career. It's great and very exciting. Amazing to see him succeed. Close proximity to celebrities.
Close proximity.
Extended travel, late nights, all consuming. So I'm like, is it like a manager? Well, no, because even your manager...
Is he like touring with something?
Yeah. Like to me, it feels like... It's reading. And the reason I'm trying to like discern that is because that thing where it's like, if it's a thing where like, it's like his career finally popped off and he's finding success, it is this thing where it is like, well, this was kind of always in the cards and like, did you not kind of think it would happen, or did you not realize it would feel this way, or did you unfortunately think you were going to be able to go along for the ride for all of the stuff? It's like, well, you have an all-consuming job and a full-time job, and so that was going to be impossible anyway. But also I think, but then if it's a thing where it's like, just, let's just say some other career, and you're right, like I feel like family, if you're just taking pictures of celebs a lot, they can think it. I'm just trying to see if I can discern what the husband does because like, it is like I get like the travel and not being like, it's a complete shift of your routine.
Yeah.
And that's definitely the first problem here, and not necessarily a problem, but what might be causing like an upset is like your routine is completely shifted. You're not seeing this person as much. They're gone for a bit, and all this. And I personally think one of the first things I would suggest doing to help is to find a way to reconnect after travel each time. After travel, what is something you can do to reconnect? What is a way you can kind of like have one-on-one time that feels intentional? But I think, it there's like an element of reading this where it doesn't even feel like that is as much a problem. It feels like you're like, your life is cooler than mine now.
Oh, I absolutely agree.
And that's what it doesn't feel like it's really anything triggered than like you comparing his new world with it, and you're like, I don't see myself in it. It's like, well, why is that? Because like he's,
well, her being like, I don't blame him because they're celebrities and they must be more interesting.
Yes, that's
where I'm like, no. I was like,
I'll tell you
you're
for a
on
fact,
set,
a lot of these celebrities, dorks,
when
boring.
When you're on set or you're doing a shoot day, which we're gonna just assume that that's the job that they're doing. They're on some kind of set. Even though there is downtime and people maybe are on their phones, they are fully disassociating. Like when Iffy's on set for stuff, when we're shooting stuff, I'm like, yeah, I'm looking at my phone to do stuff, but like even when I see texts, I'm not like looking at them and hearing them. I'm just like, yeah, I gotta look at that later.
Yeah.
And I think that it's easy to take that personally if you are not used to it because everyone constantly has access to their phones.
Yeah. It's so funny. I love I've talked about this on the pod before, but the projection in the comments, everyone's doing it. And that's why I spend so much time like trying to like discern, think about all the angles and see the both sides because I think people like read these, especially like I think when people are casually doing this, it's rampant, but even sometimes other pods, they'll read this immediately, like take a side and stance, either self-insert, and then that's their attitude when taking it in, when really it's like, no, as with all stories, like you don't know all sides and all sides must be considered. And that's something I just always do. And I think it's a thing people think they do, but I've argued with enough people about conflicting information to know none of y'all are doing that. None of y'all have the range or the brains to actually like consider all the possible outcomes and then after considering that outcome kind of leaning on what's the most likely. But anyway, that is a whole other thing. This person goes, why are you not visiting him for extended periods? Sounds like he can afford it. Oh, and I'm, in all caps, sure that he would, all caps, love it if you just happen to pop up.
No,
like this person is
do not do that.
sure that they're cheating. And I was like, and this is someone who would blow up their relationship and is trying to get you to do the same. I was like, no, he's probably busy. But we got some more info from Op, which is why I pulled it up, because Op replied, I stayed with him for 2 months. I ate dinner alone every night and fell asleep by myself every night. He works late every night, sometimes not coming home till 2 a.m. If I was lucky, I would get to have a meal with him on the weekend, but he works weekends too. It was hard not to jump into lovey-dovey on the weekend after feeling so neglected all week. It was hard to jump into lovey-dovey and see, that's very interesting. It was hard to jump into lovey-dovey on the weekend after feeling so neglected all week. So when he actually did have the time for you, you didn't want to do it because you're like, well, when I wanted this, I didn't get it. And I think that is something to explore with professionals in therapy. But it's like, that is a trap I think is so easy to like fall into where it's like, you're like, well, I didn't get what I want. And it's like, okay, but if this is the only time I have, and now you're using this time to get back at me, then at the end, what time are we spending together? None. And you're still feeling the same way. And now I'm starting to feel the same way.
Yeah, I've experienced a little bit of that in a relationship in the past. Of the like, oh, I have time. You want to do this? It's like, well, this is, I wanted to earlier in the week. I'm like, okay. But I think that I don't know if this is going to be directly relevant, but I think that like this is sort of conjuring up in me a lot of my soapboxes about American work culture and also about the connectivity of the internet. And like my dad traveled a lot when he worked growing up. This was before cell phones were commonplace. Like he had one pretty early. Even then, he'd like go work in Venezuela or China and not be able to call us. And so for 3 weeks, we wouldn't talk to him. And then he'd come home and we'd sit down and spend like 5 hours over dinner hearing all the stories. And I think that having constant contact with people so much and having the ability to like send a text, have a short call, all that, sometimes can like the idea of I should always know everything about this person, I think is unhealthy and dangerous. And I think it like leads into patterns that allow someone to think they always should be paid attention to and to feel neglected. When they're not being neglected, they're just not the priority.
Yeah.
And so like, I don't know, maybe if you just didn't talk to him while he was like, if you talked once on the weekend.
Yeah.
And then when you got back, you're like, great, tell me all about it. As opposed to just like, okay, you're back, I know everything. Like,
what are we going to do?
Yeah,
yeah.
Because also like, you're saying I'm not part of his life. You're not part of his work. Yeah. And that might be good. Well, so when he's back, what's your life?
I'm glad you said that because that's really why I spent so much time trying to really nail down what he does. Because I think this is a big thing for anyone who does any type of like just coming out and saying it, like speaking for myself. if I'm out at like an event and I'm posting pics with me, with some of my friends or with a celebrity or with this, it can like it's very easy to look at it where it's like, oh man, I'm home alone and he's out partying and he's with these cool people. But really it's like, no, this is all like, it is all part of like the PR role that you're doing, especially on social media. It's like you are showing that you're a part of these industry, that you're working with people. You want to be, and it's not even for anyone other than like casting directors to be like, oh, these two are getting along. I should put them in something, like, and so it becomes this like situation where you're this is one of the funniest things. This directly correlates with the point I'm trying to make. So, I'm friends with like a lot of people who do like porn and OnlyFans and all this stuff. And I remember one of my friends, she did this post that was like, she was like, I really want to get into like magic, but like, I'm afraid that, all these guys will think I'm weird for doing it. And I was like, I responded and I was like, what do you mean? Like this isn't weird. People would be stoked to do. She was like, if you're falling for my work, and I was like, oh yeah, this isn't real. But it's like kind of like that, where it's like, as someone's partner, you have to realize that their work goes from screen to screens to the small screen, and everything they're doing is all part of the dance to kind of stay relevant and interesting to producers and casting directors. So you can't sit there and be at home and be like, oh, he's having so much fun with these people. It's like, no, it's work. It is work. I started going to like premieres like years ago with my friend, and it was so funny because like when I started going, I was like, oh man, I'm gonna go to these premieres and I'm gonna be able to be around all these celebrities. And almost every celebrity would walk the carpet, eat like one food, shake a bunch of producers' hands, and then go. They did not want to party. They didn't want to hang because
it's like, not social.
Because it's work. These aren't their friends. And I think it's to look at it that way. Now, that being said, you're saying this is new. You're saying he's new into the industry. He's probably in his bag a little bit too. Like, I don't want to fully let him off. I think, he might be, putting a little too much dip on his chip, and he's spending extra time out, because if this is a career he was striving for, he's in a space he's wanted to be for so long.
Yeah, he's excited.
So he's trying to like soak it up. But I think with that being said, it's going to take, two to kind of do this tango. I think you need to be upfront with wanting more of that time and kind of working with him to find a time to like reconnect and do it. And he's going to need to kind of like maybe reevaluate and see like, okay, how many of these 2 a.m. nights are absolutely necessary, and how many is it just like, I'm just having fun
going out with the crew after work or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I find that like I don't work in Hollywood anymore, but like even in our little corner of the internet, I feel a lot of pressure to go to any social event that I'm invited to, because in some way, shape, or form, that affects casting for us. That affects like I meet people at social events who end up working for us as editors, as like whatever. But at the same time, I'm like, it's fine if I don't go.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's like, and it's so funny because you're so right, where it's not even anything personal or anything, but there's an element of like the object permanence that everyone has out here. And it's like, if you have a friend who's like staffing for a show that he needs writers for, and all your friends are going out to drink and he's there, when he sees you there, he's going, oh shoot, by the way, I got a show you should submit. If he doesn't see you there, then he's not going to think to say that. So there is like, credence to being out, and you're right, and doing that in so many ways. Or like, there's so many times I've been out and bumped into a friend. They're like, oh, I'm actually like casting for a thing. I really want you to submit. Or, oh, I want you to do, like, because it's like, there's like the nature of the industry, at least, on the acting comedy side, is you have so many things going on that it is like very easy to just like blank slate, and then like now you're just taking in who like is auditioning and who's
looking at
agents.
literally what's in front of you.
Yeah.
But it's like if you are someone who might not be getting sent in, but like they're like, oh no, I know your stuff, I like it. Hey, I think I got something for you. So it's this weird work-life balance that is kind of hard when you're like in the mix, because you do have to put in those hours to keep it going. But I do think it is like a very true culture shock to have someone who was like super around and all this stuff. I remember we were it's like sometime last year where it was like chill for me for a bit, and like I remember M was telling like one of my partners being like, yeah, if he's gonna be busy, like this is the
you're
calm
like,
thing.
because even in your downtime you are still working a lot, you're doing a lot of things, but you're physically in the city. And I'm like, just so you know, this is the relaxing time. I was like, we live together, we raise a child together, we do a whole bunch of things. I'm like, and I won't see you for 6 weeks at a time. So I'm like, I mean, strap in or get out, like decide.
But I think it is like, honest to say, I think it's kind of hard. Like this is definitely worth working on because y'all have been together for so long. But I think if anyone was on the end of this in the very early stages, it's something you have to decide that it's like, if this is something you just know you can't, that isn't feasible for you, for the way you like to be loved and the care that you need, then you just got to be like, this isn't for me, because it doesn't get less busy. Like,
I think that what I would say too is like, think about the things that make you feel seen in your relationship and figure out things that work to make you feel that way when you're not together. Like when you were gone for like more than a month, I was like, ooh, I'd really like flowers because that makes me feel seen. And then when you're not there, I am looking at a thing that you gave me. So I remember how I feel. I remember how I feel about you. I feel all these things. And I'm like, oh, I think finding small stuff like that, even if it's like, hey, I Postmated you dinner tonight because I know it's our regular date night. I know I'm not there. So I'm like, think about stuff that will make you feel seen like that, and then have conversations about how to make that work when you're not in the same space.
Also, maybe get off Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
hop offline.
It really is. It's like it can be hard. I think the way social media and like, you know, us forgetting that social media is like a highlight reel. Like you're only letting people know, you know, the hits, you know, and like, you know, with that kind of can really, especially if it's someone that you're either comparing yourself to or not seeing too much of, you know, it's wild. Like I remember, I forget, like sometimes it'll be like if I like had like a serious conversation or like, you know, or it's like, you know, some kind of like friction. There's like, sometimes I'll like, you know, be like, hey, you know, I don't want you to think that I'm being like callous and I don't care about this thing that we've talked about, but I also do have to post this stuff for work. So like me posting like a smiling video of me talking about a show doesn't mean like I'm disaffected by like this situation or this conversation, because it is like, you know, I, you know, have, you know, gone through breakups and have to like go into work still and go be on camera still, and you're still having to be like, hey, let's go, you know. So it is like this element where it's like, don't let social media be the barometer. I'm thinking we're close to time, so I think we can call it right there. But yeah, no. Any
I'm
final
so excited
thoughts?
for the next one. I read it on the page.
Okay, now let's just let's make it a fat one. Let's go. 21 female, caught my boyfriend, 23 male, talking to himself through a messaging app. I went through my boyfriend of a year and a half's phone and found out he was texting himself through a messaging app. He has his number saved in his contacts as his supervisor's. Incident number 1. During the holidays, he told family and I that he was working on a call. He said he was going to text his supervisor and see if he could get off earlier. 10 minutes later, he shows me his phones and shows me a message of this supervisor approving his request. Great. Now we can actually relax and I don't have to worry about you leaving any second. Incident number 2. We're on the train together, but the train keeps getting delayed. I turn and say, I wonder why the train keeps getting delayed. 2 minutes later, he shows me a message from his supervisor explaining why the train is so delayed. I thanked him for being able to help me understand the issue, and we continued en route. Then fast forward to a couple weeks ago. I go through his phone and find out that these messages are not coming from an actual supervisor. This whole time, he was the supervisor. So he was never on call. He never had to send a text to get off call. He had been texting himself back and forth for months, and he just recently stopped after I confronted him about it. I'd like to note that I was also not perfect in this relationship. I don't want to make it seem like he's the bad guy and I'm an innocent victim. However, this, I feel, is next level. Doing this takes serious dedication, and honestly, it's scary. I would have been forgot to text myself back within 2 to 3 days in one of the messages. He expressed to his supervisors that he was sick, and I remembered being with him and taking care of him during this time. His supervisor, him, replied saying, I hope you feel better. Make sure you stay hydrated and get rest. My brain cannot comprehend this. I asked him why he did this. His reasoning was that his parents don't believe that he's at work when he tells them, so he fakes messages so that he could show them as proof. Sounds like BS to me. That excuse would have just barely been believable if he didn't include me in the lies. He apologized for including me in it and says he wants another chance to do better, but I'm afraid that this other chance will just be another cycle full of lies. If he's willing to go this far with little to no motive, how far is he willing to go when he has something worth trying to cover up? He also admitted that he'd do things to try and impress me. I think he might be having an identity crisis. I don't know. He makes me feel bad for choosing to walk away, but I keep trying to explain to him that this isn't a normal situation that people go through all the time. My brain cannot find a reason to validate this behavior. Also, I'd like to note that before all of this, I also caught him posting a video on social media pretending like it was him when it really wasn't. But I chose to move on from that situation. I feel very disrespected. I feel like I welcomed a stranger into my life. I feel like he knows everything about me, but yet I don't know anything about him because I don't know what was real and what wasn't. If this were you, would you stay with this person? He seems very apologetic and he's an amazing man aside from all this, but this really threw me off. Okay, here's my thing.
Well,
what did she do?
That's not what I expected.
What did she do? Because she was like, I did my dirt, and you're bringing up this weird supervisor. Because this is a weird thing.
Because it's weird, but he's not doing anything wrong.
That's why I'm like, what did you do? What did you do?
I mean, it's weird.
Because this feels like someone being like, I got this. You're the weirdo. I'm like, because also, to me, I'm like, now you earned it. Because if ever I was in a situation where I'm like, I wonder why the train's delayed, and it was like, my supervisor said this, I'd be like,
how would they know?
Do you work for the train?
I know. I was like,
I mean, to be fair, he might work from the train based on all this information.
Who the fuck want to care? I don't give a fuck what your supervisor said.
Well, I don't. It seems like there might be, it seems like this person needs someone to talk to and is talking to himself. Like thinking stuff out loud.
Weird that it's like, to me, it made sense when we were talking about the call, but now you're saying, like, I need more details. One, how much was he using this supervisor excuse? Because it should have only worked for the work call, and the fact where it's like, oh my gosh,
my supervisor knows why the train is delayed. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's like, that's so wild that, like, why would the supervisor matter? Also, this man is texting himself.
Okay, all right. I think she has two options. And it's based on, we don't have enough information to know which option is the correct one. One, pack your bags, change your name, move to a new state.
Yeah.
Two, get in a role play. Because this guy seemingly...
Become the supervisor you want to see in the world?
I kind of, because I'm like, his parents don't believe when he's at work. So he's actually created a lower status version of himself like a less impressive thing for your parents to justify a concern they have about his work schedule.
Also,
and then
why
he's posting this
why
weird
are
thing.
his parents? Why do they know any of that information?
Because I'm like the holiday thing. I'm like, that to me feels like a power play over your parents of. Like, you can't expect me to always do what you want. You can't expect me to be at every holiday to be available because I have a job.
Yeah, or I don't want to be in the same room as you.
But then when you actually like, so those expectations are too much for you, but you do have the flexibility to meet them. You're like, what if I lied?
The supervisor is nuts.
It's also like a new movie coming to ABC this fall. Like, this is
Starring Joel McHale.
It's such an insane premise. I'm going to pretend to be my own supervisor. The train thing is what I can't get over. Like, lying about work stuff, whatever. And also...
Because, like I said, she's, like, pissed that he's doing this, right? But, like, I'm not really sure why. I mean, like I said, it's absolutely weird. And, like, if you're doing something that weird, you're probably doing other weird stuff. But I don't understand why she's pissed about this specifically.
Is she pissed or is she scared?
Yeah.
Well, it seems like she was mad.
Because I'm like, I would get being like, this is weird. I don't understand what you're doing.
Yeah, why are you talking to yourself?
Well, she did, because she said, like, you know, if this is what he'd do with no motive, what is he capable of?
Yeah.
And that's where I'm like, it seems like his behavior is giving some sense of serial killer beyond just this.
Yeah.
And this is just one piece of the puzzle, which is why I'm like, pack your bags, change your name.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, no, this
Move to
is
Provo.
this is giving serial killer energy, definitely. It was like
It's like, I'm making my own alibi for years in advance.
the fact that it's just a message and it just says supervisor.
Well, it's so funny because I was gonna before we heard the whole story because when I pick these, I only skim for any trigger warnings and stuff. I try not to read the whole thing, so I didn't know what the whole thing was gonna be.
Yeah.
Because I was almost like, oh, I text myself all the time. Like if I'm on my iPad and I'm trying to send something, I just text it to myself because then it'll show up on my phone. And I was almost like, oh, I do that all the time. And I was like, never mind, I do not do that.
I thought this is going to be sort of a chat GPT situation.
Me too. And then it just was like, nope. He's like,
No, it's worse.
It's so wild.
Better for the environment, worse for his partner.
Can you imagine if she found out that he was cheating on her with himself? He's looking through the text and it's like, I love you? What?
yeah, but also
You're going to dinner with your supervisor?
He's also like, you know, pretending to be someone else. Like he posted someone else online and pretending like it's him. Like it seems like there's so
more
many
going
elements to it. But it definitely feels like one day he's just gonna like, babe, I'm sorry. The supervisor said I have to kill you.
The supervisor said you have to go.
The supervisor said you must die.
This...
I don't like the direct eye contact you were making with me when you said that.
This feels like the sequel to the Cable Guy.
Yeah. That's so get out of there.
This is like
I don't know what you did though. For you to I feel like you did something, but really he's scarier right now. But I feel like you did something. You're like, I was no angel. We didn't ask. You just volunteered that information.
Yeah, I also, this very much could be a mental health thing. Mm-hmm. That we just don't have enough information. And also, we are not professionals.
Well, also, it's like, like I was looking through the comments to see if they replied with more information. They didn't.
They're texting themselves the replies.
No, they've already deleted the post because the supervisor found it. But, like, there's an element, too, where, like, I can see someone being, like, having such low self-confidence that they're like, oh, if I say something, you're not going to believe me, but if the supervisor says it, you'll believe it.
Oh, yeah.
That's a wild thing.
This is so Kafka-esque, both in just that it is sort of like a bureaucratic mire that somebody's life is caught up in, and also that he keeps calling the guy the supervisor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of big dog.
That shit would have fell apart the moment we was on the train. The way I would have cussed him out by showing me a supervisor text when I'm already pissed off that the train's delayed is like, dog, if you show me that again, I will find your supervisor and kick his ass. I don't care what he thinks about this train.
Maybe that's what he was looking for.
Yeah.
Now I have to assume he works for whatever public transit organization is in the city that they're in.
Well,
why would the supervisor know anything about the train?
The supervisor was like, he was like, what did he say? He's like, he shows me messages from his supervisor explaining why the train was so delayed. I thanked him for being able to help me understand the issue, and we continued on our route.
Yeah, that specific sentence does make me think that she doesn't believe him when he says stuff. So he's like, "Here."
Hey, look. Okay.
When clearly
look,
his special interest is
I
trains.
know. I know. I wonder if that's like. I wonder if that's the thing. That's like the missing piece, and this is why she's not an angel. She's like, yeah, I cuss him out. I call him a dumbass all the time. I never believe anything he ever says. But you know, when he told me the supervisor, I had to listen to the supervisor. It was like, you're the problem, because you listen to the supervisor.
I love the supervisor.
The supervisor.
All hail the supervisor.
The supervisor. I know. That's going to be like a new King character sometime. The supervisor. The supervisor. The supervisor.
That's what we can call the cuck chair. That's the supervisor's chair.
Oh, yes. The supervisor. I want to do my own of the like. Actually, I'm just going to do it. So let's wrap this thing up. So I already let you know where my shows are going to be. I'll have them posted on socials. Matt, you're not on socials, so no one can find you anywhere. But is there anything you want people to look out for?
Go to Matt's house.
Look out for the supervisor. He's out there.
Supervisor, Commander Party, which you work on.
Yeah, check out Good Time Society.
Yeah, Good Time Society as a whole. Check that out.
We're doing stuff.
Yeah.
Some of it's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's an insane promo.
Insane thing to say.
Yeah. And Becca listens to this, so she's gonna hear it.
No, it's a lot of fun. We have a blast.
Yeah. I'd say so myself. But yeah, we're gonna get out of here. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Love you. Bye.
You're being supervised.
The supervisor.